Look at my Star Trek toys!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys! It's a little show where, Mike and I, we discuss Star Trek toys. And today, we have a really interesting episode because we have a lot of reporting from Nacelle Toys' appearance at the Toy Fair in 2025, where Brian Volk-Weiss was there showing off the figures, or at least the prototypes that we now can see with our very eye. We can't touch them, but we can look at them. And so I have a little bit of new information about what's coming, but mainly the purpose of this episode is just for Mike and I to look at the figures as they're getting closer to production and just do a vibes check. How we feeling? How are we liking these figures? I know a lot of these have been out already, and to be perfectly honest, we borrowed those from the internet. We'll try to credit those who we stole from as best we can as we move forward. But Mike, how you doing? Are you excited to look at these?
I'm doing well, Keith. I mean, we're here at the beginning of March, so we're so close to spring we can touch it. We're getting some false spring days. You know, you get into the rat race of life and work, and you're looking for something to look forward to. And now that the internet exists, Keith, we can look at toys that we can't buy yet, but we could maybe buy soon. And that might just give us a taste of joy. So let's do it.
Mike, are you saying you need a little taste of joy today?
I do. I need a little taste of joy. And if you know anything about me, sometimes when I'm in a blue state, Keith, I just go to the store. I go to your Walmart, your Target.
Yeah.
And I walk.
Not anymore.
I walk the toy aisles.
Yeah. We have to go to the few toy stores that aren't evil now.
Yeah.
But
there had been rumors
of
of Toys R Us making a return. Oh, there's comic shops. They sell toys. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Anywhere you got to go. Whatever you got to do.
Go to your independent comic shop, your independent toy store.
Or just subscribe here to K&M, and we will walk through these toy images together as a little family.
Yes, indeed. So, we have a bunch of pictures taken from Toy Fair 2025. And I say, with no further nonsense, let's look at the display. So Nacelle Toys had the display of their whole line coming up with 2025, but we're a Star Trek show, so we are going to take a look at these. These photos were taken by Toy Arc, so says the watermark. So thank you, Toy Arc.
Yes.
Hopefully, we're going to ask for forgiveness on this, but we want to take a look at some of these and get a better view. So we can see the 8-figure line coming from Nacelle.
Those look freaking awesome.
They look pretty fantastic.
That way Yoon is staring right through my soul.
Well, I mean, as a Deep Space Nine people, I'm very, very excited about that. So we can see also some of the specific choking hazards, but more than the choking hazards, we have some big old pieces of you couldn't even choke on these. Big old No, get your mind out of the gutter.
What did I say?
Bigger pieces. Not you, I mean the internet. We're talking to the internet.
Yeah, you're right.
So these aren't in any particular order. Let's just sort of look through them
Okay.
and get a closer look at these figures here.
Ooh, I love.
You love yourself a Bacula. So this is Mirror Bacula from Enterprise. I think it looks great. The sculpt, the facial sculpt. I mean, again, these are prototypes.
The matte paint is great. I mean, the painting is, even for a proto, the painting's great. It gives me the vibes of some fabric, of some texture.
The paint looks great. The sculpt looks great. I'm hoping that the final production models will be as close to these as possible, because I think these look fantastic.
Cup of tea?
Here's our Captain Sulu, and of course the iconic tea and saucer from Star Trek 6, which we're going to get to with our patrons at patreon.com/KNM. Next up is Voyage Home. We do live watch-alongs with our patrons. You don't want to miss it.
Wow.
Now, Mike, because our last patron watch-along exclusive movie was Star Trek 3, do you remember who this is? He says, knowing you don't.
No, but there's parts that I remember.
This is Valkyrie, the Valkyrus, the Romulan who stole
Yes.
the location of the Genesis device.
Look at that hair.
Look at the sculpt. Look at that. I'm
The
curious
chainmail?
about the fabric.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what type of rubber is that fabric there?
That is an
it
elaborate
movable?
figure. That is cool.
That is super elaborate. Now, of course, a lot of people are complaining about the price point, but it's under $30. If they're able to actually accomplish that figure at 7 scale with that level of complexity under $30, it's pretty darn impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little unclear. We'll get back to it. Never mind. We'll go there. So here's Tuvix, which Mike has not seen the episode Tuvix, but it's a great looking figure. The likeness, the sculpt is really, really rock solid.
I mean, I can't look at anything else but my Wayoon.
But of course, I bet we have a better shot of Wayoon.
I don't know that we do, to be honest with you.
Okay, well then let's weigh in on this Wayoon. Go back. Let's weigh in on Wayoon then.
It looks great. I mean, it looks great. I don't know what to tell you. It looks like Jeffrey Combs. Looks okay. I mean, not a lot happening facially. So let's say this is taking place during a negotiation. Perhaps he's not giving us any.
Well, of course.
They're all pretty neutral, actually, when it comes to the.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for most figures is a relatively neutral expression. But I think, honestly, like a Wayoon figure is definitely one of my top priorities. That we never got in the Playmates line.
I do find it interesting if you take a peek with these three, right? How they do switch up which hand holds like a choking hazard. So on the Tuvix and the Wayoon, we have their right hand open and the bald-fisted left hand, whereas that's flipped on the.
And that's a question that I do not know the answer to, and I'm sure somebody here does. Is Bacula left-handed?
That would be quite attention to detail. Maybe, yeah, that would be cool. I'm sure you're on the Google there. The Google
no,
machine.
I'm not Googling. I'm here. I'm live here with you, Mike.
Okay, okay. Well,
your job is to Google, but you're also running the slideshow.
Yeah,
so and of course, here's our Peter Preston, who I think in the interview with Brian Volkweis, he pointed out he's the only non-major cast member to get a line in Wrath of Khan, is I believe what he said. But I mean, I think that looks more prototypey to me, but I think it looks really solid. I think some of these, they did the prototypes earlier than the others, and I think they may be earlier in the production in terms of getting all the details there. I mean, it is such a random figure to have, but that was sort of his objective there. What'd you find out about Bacula?
Nothing's popping out, so I think it's just a rando selection of. Let's see if we have anybody else with the left hand that's open. Oh no, Jellicoe's left hand is open. Right
yeah,
here. So I think it might be just random.
I don't know. If we ever have Brian on the show, hello Brian, come on the show.
Yeah,
we'd love to ask you the question. So the thing in between them. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Nothing to sneeze at. So do you have any idea, Mike, what that is?
An aquarium?
Yes, it is an aquarium. Specifically, it is Picard's aquarium.
Oh, that's cool.
In his ready room. Now, of course, because we have not reviewed Next Gen with Mike, and we who knows, at some point maybe we will.
We're not getting any younger.
No, we're not. But Captain Jellicoe, who is the other figure there, he noticed that he takes over for Picard for reasons or whatever, and he removes the fish tank of Picard's lionfish, who they, behind the scenes, named Livingston Picard, I believe, after David Livingston, the director. And Jellicoe gets rid of the fish. He does not care for having a fish, and the fish stays out of Picard's office for the rest of the run of the series. And so it is interesting to have this as a possible choking hazard there, because Jellicoe is the one who sort of noted it and removed it. But even funnier, and I'm hoping that this is the joke, there's no fish in there because Jellicoe got rid of the fish.
Oh,
so it's an empty fish tank. hilarious.
Well, you could it could be a fish right there. I don't know. No, it doesn't seem to be a fish.
I don't see because the lionfish is sort of red. Anyway, hilarious. If they end up following through on that, but I love that little piece of storytelling, and it speaks to the sort of sense of whimsy that they're going for. They're going for these sort of random, hilarious choices and have a sense of humor about them. And so here you can see some of the promotional material that Brian himself posted up there. And you can see a little bit more. That interesting, they're using like the Star Trek or the comic book font there, but you can see the line as well. What are you looking up?
I was just gonna go to that page and see what the pre-order looks like.
Well, I don't believe you can pre-order them yet.
Oh, that's just like pre-order because
I think we're pre-order.
It says
but
right
it
here,
looks like,
pre-order now.
oh, well, maybe you can. I don't know. Mike's going to find out, but go forward one because it gives us 2 pieces of information that we've already sort of released.
Well, I can't do it all at once. Oh, fall. Okay.
So fall 2025. So coming up soon, and $28.99 is the goal. The goal is to be under $30, which, admittedly, is a lot for a figure. But you are getting a really nice figure out of it. So
it does not appear like it's on the website just yet.
Yeah, that was my understanding, is that they're not quite there yet. So here's a good way in there. Looks really great. So ship date for fall 2025, not pre-order date for fall 2025.
So we'll probably see something probably pop in the summertime would be my guess.
I would think.
Yep.
I would think. So there's Jellicoe with the fish tank, and I'm assuming the fish tank comes with the figure, and the same thing with the Genesis device and Valkyrie. I'm assuming, but we'll see. And there's our Rachel Garrett from my personal favorites in a next gen episode of all time. Interesting that there is still the pending sensor approval tag on each of these footers here.
Interesting. Now, what is that choking hazard back there, Keith?
That's the Genesis.
The Genesis device, yes. It looks like a torpedo.
And you saw it when we watched Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
And in one of the interviews that Brian did, he's hoping to make the Genesis control panel have moving pieces so that you can actually play with it and detonate and such. So and it looks like, according to the lineup there, that the Genesis device will come with Valkyries. So that's really interesting. And that's where you get some real bang for your buck.
So then it would stand to reason, Keith, and what is our show but wild speculation at times?
There's nothing we do
better. If you're talking about value prop, right? And at least 2 of those figures have really kind of elaborate pack-ins. It would stand to reason that the others will as well. They're just not yet fully realized.
One would think. And there's also sort of a philosophical difference here between what Nacelle is doing and what we reported on Master Replica's doing with the choking hazards. Now, Master Replicas, you can check out our video previously. They're doing the Playmate scale in the Playmate style very specifically, but they said in an interview about the choking hazard, about the little extras, that they are not going, that Master Replica specifically is not doing super character specific choking hazards. They're doing more logical. So everybody gets a phaser, everybody gets whatever they would logically have for an away mission. Whereas Nacelle seems much more character based and much more specific, and with maybe a sense of whimsy, maybe a sense of humor, and a little bit more fun with that. And so, I'm of 2 minds, right? Because if I'm going to play with them, they're going to need some pew-pews, let's be honest. But as a collector on the shelf, I kind of like the character-based whimsical stuff. I think Master Replica was like, we're not going to give a trombone for Riker And I think Nacelle would very much make sure that Riker has his trombone.
I could see the argument against what I'm about to say, but just purely from an outside standpoint, I really like the sort of visual assortment for this first wave. Granted, they're of different properties and different shows, but I like there's just an aesthetic difference, a variety to it that I think is interesting and appealing and looks good on at a toy show like this, a collection like this. It shows a diversity that is kind of cool, rather than just everyone in black uniforms. I
think you're right. But of course, I will argue the alternative.
Correct.
Which is I line all of my guys up in there to make everything match. And so that has been one of the major fan responses from the Nacelle line in general, that they don't want just these sort of scatter shot. They want to fill out the whole line. So a contributor on Facebook, Bruno Billion, by way of Brian's interview with Pixel Dan, says, Nacelle confirmed in an interview with Pixel Dan that they'll be alternating strategies between waves of figures. So wave 1 and 2 are already locked in. So wave 2 is already locked in. And I'm assuming they're going to be in this sort of a world where there's sort of random side characters. But wave 3 should be the main original series crew or the next gen crew in their uniforms. Being, as Brian promised to be, responsive to fan feedback. And, responding to what people are saying they wanted. And that was the thing. Everyone's like, this is great, but I want my main cast in their uniforms in this scale and in this style. So
and the quality, they look really good.
Super high quality. And I'm hoping that the final production figures are at this quality, because I think they look super great.
It would be great. It'd be a great scoop if Brian wants to join us and maybe show off some of the figures. Maybe just hold them up, wave them around. What do you think?
I mean, seems to be talking to everybody else. To be fair, have we reached out? Nope.
Oh, I just assumed we had. Okay, so we'll go ahead. We should do so.
We're really salty that he didn't come here to my basement, New Jersey. So anyway, thank you to Action Figure Insider, actionfigureinsider.com, and Toy Arc, who I borrowed some of these pictures from. But I think there's a lot here to be very excited about. Excited to see this moving forward. It first gets proposed as sort of a concept, as an idea, and we're actually seeing this, marching towards where we can get these into our hands.
That's cool.
Which I think everybody is excited about. So, leave in your comments below all of your thoughts and feelings. What do you want? So if we know that Wave 3, right, is the original series or next gen main cast in their regular uniforms, and we know that Wave 2 is probably a bunch of random figures, right? Sort of like Wave 1. What do we want Wave 2 to be? After Martok. I want my Martok, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super curious what you guys think that should be. If you want to continue this conversation, Mike, how do people communicate with us in a perhaps even awesomer way that you pay for?
Well and nimbly handled, Keith. Well, of course you can comment here below. And you can also send us an email at lookatmystartrektoys
at
gmail.com.
The title of the show.
Yes, easy, at gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram at StarTrekToys. Or, Keith, head on over to patreon.com/KandM, KANDM. And you could become a subscriber for $1, see all kinds of stuff, or just to help us out. Or, yeah, really, those are your options.
Just as deftly handled, Mike. Just as deftly. We're nothing if not consistent. All right. Well,
Brian, you want to be a part of this.
Yeah, just like, would you like to show your wonderful figures in a slightly more scatterbrained and incompetent fashion?
Yeah.
Right here. All right. We will see you back here next week with another fun episode we're about to record. Gonna be fun. Maybe some customs. We'll see. Till then, this has been.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Hey. What's that?
No,
Guys, you know what this has been?
Look at my Star Trek toys!
Nailed it.